Good morning students and welcome back. Today we will solve second worksheet of history, lesson number 2, historiography, Indian tradition. So are you ready with your worksheets? Now let's solve the third one, complete the table. In this, historian's name and book name is given. So if historian's name is given, then you have to write down the book name written by that historian. If book name is given, then you have to write down the historian name who has written that book. So let's solve. The first one is James Mill. So the book written by James Mill is The History of British India. So write down The History of British India. Second one is James Granduff. So again, the book name written by the James Granduff is A History of Marathas. James Granduff has written the book on Marathas history. So the book name is A History of Marathas. Third one is, book name is given, The History of India. So the book History of India was written by Mount Stuart Elphinston. So write down the name of the historian, Mount Stuart Elphinston. The fourth one is Shripad Dhange. So the Shripad Dhange has written the book Primitive Communism to Slavery. So write down Primitive Communism to Slavery. In fifth one, book name is given, Who Were the Shudras. So the book Who Were the Shudras was written by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So write down the name, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So now students, complete this table and note down in your worksheet. Fourth web is names of British historians who wrote the Indian history. So you have to write down the Britisher's name who has written the book on Indian history. So the first name is Granduff. Second name James Mill. Third name Colonel Todd. And the fourth one William Wilson Hunter. So note down these four names in your worksheet now under the web British historians who wrote Indian history. Now let's solve the fifth web. That is, you have to write down the names of Indian Marxist historian. That means the Indian historians who has followed the method of Karl Marx. So that is called Marxist historian. So the first one is Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi. So you have to write down first box Damodar Dharmanand Kosambi. Second one, Comrade Shripad Amrut Dhange. So in the second box write down Comrade Shripad Amrut Dhange. Third box you write down Comrade Sharat Patil. Comrade Sharat Patil. Then in the fourth box write down Ram Sharan Sharma. Write down Ram Sharan Sharma. So note down these four names in the Indian Marxist historian in the worksheet. Now let's solve the sixth web, that is feminist historians. Here you have to write down the names of women historians who has written the books on women. So the Indian feminist historians' names you have to note down. So the first one is Tarabai Shinde. Tarabai Shinde was the first feminist historian of India. So write down in the first box Tarabai Shinde. Then the second box Pandita Ramabai. Pandita Ramabai. Then in the third box write down Dr. Sharmila Rege. Dr. Sharmila Rege. Then in the fourth box write down Meera Kosambi. Meera Kosambi. So complete this in your worksheet. Now let's solve the last web, that is historians of Aurangzeb's period. That means you have to write down the names of the historians who were during the time of Aurangzeb. So the first one is Ishwar Das Nagar. Ishwar Das Nagar. Then in second box write down Bhimsen Saxena. Bhimsen Saxena. Then in the third box write down Khafi Khan. Khafi Khan. And in the fourth box write down Niccolo Manussi. Niccolo Manussi. So note down all the four names in the worksheet and complete it. Now let's learn the second question, identify the wrong pair. While solving the first lesson worksheet, I have already given you the instructions how to write down the identify. So follow the instructions and write it down accordingly. So let's read the first one now. You can see the first left side, all the books names are there, and second side the types of historical books, that is how the books were written on subaltern history or feminist history. So let's start. The first one, who were the Shudras, that is subaltern history. Stree Purush Tulna, feminist history. The Indian War of Independence, Marxist history. And Grandeur wrote colonial history. So now here you have to again identify the wrong pair. So the wrong pair is third one, the Indian War of Independence. It is given Marxist history, but the Indian War of Independence is called nationalistic history. So the wrong pair is Indian War of Independence, Marxist history. Now let's read the second one. The left side name of the books are given and the right side historian's name. The first one is The Rise of the Maratha Power. The historian is Justice Mahadev Govind Ranade. Second one, Marathanच्या इतिहासाची साधने, written by Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. Third one, Maratha Riyasat, written by Govind Sakharam Sardesai. Fourth one, History of Marathas, written by Grandeur. So among these four, which one is the wrong pair? The second one is the wrong pair. Marathanच्या इतिहासाची साधने was written by Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade and not by Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. So write down the wrong pair. मराठ्यांच्या इतिहासाची साधने, Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. Now let's see the third one. Bharat Itihas Samshodhak Mandal, V.K. Rajwade. Asiatic Society, Sir William Jones. Inspiration for Nationalistic Historiography, Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. And the fourth one, Discovery of Harappan Civilization, James Mill. So here the fourth one is wrong. So the fourth one is the wrong pair. Discovery of Harappan Civilization was done under the observation of Sir John Marshall and not by James Mill. So write down the wrong pair. Discovery of Harappan Civilization, James Mill. Now let's read the fourth one. Tariq-e Firoz Shahi, Ziauddin Barani. Tuzuke Taimuri, Amir Khusrau. Tuzuke Babari, Hassan Nizami. Tariq-e Mubarak Shahi, Yahya bin Ahmad Sairandi. So guess now among these four which one is the wrong pair? Yes, the third one is the wrong pair. Tuzuke Babari. It was written by Emperor Babur. So write down the wrong pair. Tuzuke Babari, Hasan Nizami. Now let's read the last one. Sabasat Bakar, information about the rule of Shivaji. Bhau Saibanchi Bakar, the Battle of Buxar. Panipatachi Kaifiyat, the Battle of Panipat. And Holkaranchi Kaifiyat, contribution of the Holkars to the Maratha rule. So now guess among these four which one is the wrong pair. Yes, the second one is the wrong pair. Bhau Saibanchi Bakar. Bhau Saibanchi Bakar is a story of the Battle of Panipat, not about the Buxar. So write down the wrong pair. Bhau Saibanchi Bakar, the Battle of Buxar.